Well, shopping sprees across the country are continuing, with latest figures showing retail spending has surged. Data released by the Bureau of Statistics reveals November's retail trade rose by 1.4%. But it's also a sign the Reserve Bank is likely to continue raising interest rates in coming months in a bid to rein in inflation. Joining me now live is the National Retailers Association Interim CEO, Lindsay Carroll. Lindsay, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Were you surprised by the result, particularly given cost of living pressures?
Thanks for having me. No, look, it doesn't come as a surprise at all. The November figures we expected to be strong off the back of a very impressive Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales event in the retail industry. It was the biggest sales event that Australia had seen to date for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And what it showed was that Aussie shoppers, conscious of household budgets, knowing that interest rates were on the rise, were going to make the most of those sales pre-Christmas to make sure that they could treat themselves and their loved ones in December.
And what are people spending money on in particular?
We saw the greatest increase, unsurprisingly, across clothing, footwear, accessories. Department store spending was up, as well as household goods.
And what does this mean for the retail industry, particularly off the back of a couple of difficult years?
I think what we will see when the December figures are released is a similar uplift, particularly across food and grocery, as people were preparing their Christmas tables for lunch and dinner in December. But what we expect to see in 2023 is that the downward pressure presented by the interest rate rises mean that discretionary spending will definitely ease off, and Aussie consumers will be much more conscious of how they spend their money this year.
It's almost a catch-22 for the retail industry. It's good, obviously, for the industry itself, but I guess what does this mean now for inflation? That's the next question.
That's exactly right.
So what's the outlook, do you think, then, for this year, Lindsay? It's a good year last year. Do you expect the same trajectory this time round?
Certainly the first half of this year will be very difficult for Australian retailers as discretionary spending and belt buckles are tightened in household budgets. But we can expect that the rise of the popularity of Black Friday and Cyber Monday years to come. So the second half of the year will see those retail sales events to grow in popularity. And that's really important for Australian retailers because they need those sales to get them through the slower times in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly do. Lindsay Carroll, thank you so much for joining us this morning.